The next step for me then is to close out of that and go into my gear and manage site. Here in Manage Site, I can start to change my themes and fonts and colors. I can tell it what to display at the top of my main page. I like what I name my website, so I'm going to keep that, but you could change that, or you could even tell it not to show that at the top if you wanted to have a picture or something else instead. I'm going to leave that for mine. Click to Themes and Fonts and Colors, and here's where I can start to change the appearance of my website. If you really wanted to, here's where you could go back and you could pick a theme, but again, I caution against that. A lot of these have some things that are going to make it tricky for you to change later. So entire page is where I'm going to start, and I'm going to start with the background. I've already done a little bit of research myself, and I went out to one of my favorite websites called subtlepatterns.com. And this website actually gives you repeatable patterns as .png files. And the nice thing about them is they're well designed. You can get cutesy to very basic and simple and businesslike, and they're going to repeat seamlessly across your website and not be too busy and distracting from the message. Again, you want to make sure your website is about the message and the information you're communicating, not flashy, swirly, crazy colors and textures and things that are going to detract from that. So I already picked out a couple that I liked, but I'll show you what you would do when you find one that you think might work for your website. You'll find one of your patterns, and then you can click on that pattern and even click preview. It'll actually show you what it looks like on the background of the website. So you can use these for your background or your content or your site header. I wouldn't use them in your content area. They're going to be too crazy, I think, over text unless you use a really, really simple one. You can click on download and then OK. And it should go into your downloads, and depending on whether you're working with a Mac or a PC, you may have to unzip that file. For me on the Mac, it automatically unzips, and you can see that I have the 2x PNG, it's a slightly larger size file, or I have the regular PNG, and I can upload those to my website. So let's go back to our site, and I'm going to go to my background, and then image. I'll click on the image icon. And in my documents is where I have this set up and saved. So I'm going to go to where I have this set. And I have a couple of different patterns that I wanted to try out. So I think my background, I want to have this fun triangular pattern, but I'm going to go with the smaller scale, the regular one. And then OK. And the nice thing is it's not saving this setting automatically. You actually have to click Save, so if you don't like it, you can cancel out, or you can click back to Theme, no harm, no foul. I do like this, and I think that's working quite well for me. With that, I'm going to switch now to my site header. And same thing, I'm going to look at my background, and I'm going to go into the image, and I'm going to try the other one I found that I think is a nice balance to the other one. It has some nice angles. It plays off that triangular idea. It plays with that same kind of monochrome grayscale effect, and I think it'll be a nice balance to the other pattern I've picked. And it will load and fill that in. So I think that's really nice. I'm not liking it with the logo. I'm not liking it with the text, but those are things I'm going to change here in a moment. So with my site header, I can go into title, and I want to change the font. I think the font here is really important. It's going to communicate to the viewer the mood and the theme of this website and what's happening here. So because it is an art website for my art courses, I want to have kind of a fresh and modern look to it. With that, I did some research, and I found lots of examples out there on the web of Google font combinations. And so you can see some have more of a classic look to them like this, with a serif style font. Again, that's a font that has a little foot or a hook at the end of the letter. And some fonts like this one is actually what I'm going to go with. I really like this Josephine Sans. It's a sans serif. It doesn't have that foot or hook at the end of the letter. It's the same thickness all the way through. Has a nice modern, clean look to it. With the body text of my website, I'm going to try using this Merriweather, and I think that'll be a nice balance. That's a serif style font. It's going to be classic, and generally speaking, serif style fonts like this are easier to read in body text or in blocks of text. So I think I'll keep that in the body of my website and use this Josephine for my main headers and the header of the website. So I can go back to my site, and go into font, change it from normal, and find that Josephine Sands. Now, the one thing I don't like about Google Sites is that they don't really give you the preview of what those fonts are, so it's a little bit frustrating. So do yourself a favor, do some internet research, find some resources like I just shared there, and find a font that you'll be happy with. Josephine Sands. And then from here I can also change the color and I can change the size. So I do think I want to change the color. I'm going to go with kind of a nice teal blue, maybe even a little more towards the teal side, and I think that has a nice fresh look to it. And I can play around with the size of that font as well. I want it nice and big. I'm actually going to take away the logo here in a minute, so I'm not worried about the way that's wrapping right now.